Hi everyone, welcome to the National Scholarship 2019-2020 application information session. My name is Elena Solorio and I am the Senior Program Manager at TheDream.Us, so I kind of run the program. And with us tonight we have Sadhana Singh, who is one of my colleagues, and she is actually also a former Dream.Us winner. And she just recently graduated this past spring. And we also have 3 other current scholars with us who are going to give a little bit of insight to everyone about their experience. So let's go ahead and get started. So just to give a brief overview of kind of what the agenda is going to look like for tonight. I'm going to give just some quick insight as to TheDream.Us and what we're all about. Sadhana is going to share some insight with you. Then we're going to jump to the award and eligibility criteria. From there, you will have the chance to answer or to ask some questions specific to the award piece as well as the eligibility criteria. Once we're through that, we're going to go down to the application breakdown, kind of go over the timeline and selection process, and give you another chance to ask some questions about that process as well. So we really kind of want to keep it broken down so that the questions are specific to what we have just gone over. Once we are done with those questions, then you'll get to hear from our current scholars, and then we'll follow it back up with some tips. And if we have time after that and there's still more questions, we will go through that process there. Just to let you know how the question process works, you will see there on your panel that you have the ability to raise your hand. That will let us know that you've got a question. Otherwise, you can also click down on the chat box and ask your question there. Once it is time for the questions, Sadhana will actually be helping me out. So if you have clicked on or raised your hand and you have the ability to, or have a microphone where you can actually ask the questions, Sadhana will unmute you at that point. Otherwise, if you don't have access to a microphone, just go ahead and put those questions down in the chat box and we will get those answered for you. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so just to give you some background on TheDream.Us, we are the largest college access and success program for dreamers in the nation. We currently have over 3,000 scholars in 15 states plus the DC area, and they encompass 75 different partner colleges with us. The scholarships are provided to highly motivated and low-income dreamers, and we really do a lot of advocacy work for tuition and aid equity for dreamers. And then now I'm actually going to turn it over to Sadhana, and she's going to kind of give you a few tips here, as well as kind of give you a little bit of her story.
Hey everyone, my name is Sadhana Singh. I am Program and Communications Manager with TheDream.Us. And as Elena mentioned, I'm also a former scholar who has just graduated from college. So I'm really happy to be talking to you all today and helping you to complete that application. So why are you doing this? Why are you applying to TheDream.Us? I'm going to give you a couple reasons why it's important. So more than a scholarship, you will get a community that believes in you. So you're going to be in a partner college that's committed to dreamers and committed to making a safe space for dreamers. You're going to get a scholar advisor that's going to support and guide you throughout your whole academic career. You're going to get dreamers on campus who are then going to be part of your community that you can lean on and you can support each other. And beyond that, you'll have a national online community via Facebook of our 3,000 scholars. So with all of this, you're not just getting tuition and fees, you're getting so much more. And I can speak to this firsthand. So when I started with TheDream.Us in college, I came to Trinity Washington University in DC and I found a whole community that supported me. The college president was a very strong advocate of dreamers. She always spoke out on our behalf. to protect us and to be our champion and to always let us know that we are welcome and that we will get an education. I had a scholar advisor who I could say openly that I was a dreamer and that I need help in these areas and that these are the things I struggle with. And it was easy for me to tell my professors that I was a dreamer. I found a very open community of people that knew exactly my status and also wanted to help me succeed. On campus, I met a whole group of wonderful people that was sort of going through the same experience that I did, and I did not have that before coming to college. And then online, I found it really inspiring and motivational for me to see what everyone else was doing across the country. So this was more than a college experience to me. It was a very wholesome community experience. Now the next reason. Reason 2, we know some facts about college graduates. So typically, college graduates earn 66% more than those who just have a high school diploma. And you are twice as likely to be employed with a college degree than you are if you didn't have one. By 2020, we know that about 2/3 of job openings will require a post-secondary education. So you might as well start now. Reason number 3, no one can ever take away your education. Being in college can help if the government tries to pass immigration legislation or do something with DACA in the future. You can then take your college degree with you to anywhere in the world, and TheDream.Us is part of that journey. For example, I actually met my spouse in the TheDream.Us community. He also earned his degree through the program, and as such, he has now been offered a job in Canada. So without having that degree, without taking this chance to have this scholarship and to earn his education, he would not have been a marketable person that can then be hired anywhere in the world. So these are some really great reasons for you to get this scholarship and send in that application. And my fellow scholars who are on with us here tonight will have more tips that they will share with you later on. So now I'll hand it back over to Elena.
Thanks, Sedona. All right, so just to give you a quick overview of the award. So the annual award is actually based on the cost of tuition. And so it's a maximum award based on the type of scholarship that you're applying for. We have 2 different scholarship types. One is for our high school graduates who are seeking a bachelor's degree. You can also start out seeking an associate's degree and then move to your bachelor's degree. And those total give you a maximum of up to $29,000 total for the award. And then if you are applying as a community college graduate who is looking to continue on from your associates to receive your bachelor's, again, it's a maximum of $29,000 towards earning your bachelor's degree. However, if you are in the state of California, Washington, or you are looking to attend Purdue Global, it's a maximum of $14,500 for the degree. We do not reduce your scholarship by any other aid, scholarships, or grants unless you are considered overfunded. So we look at your total cost of attendance, not just what your tuition and fees are, and that's based on your living arrangement. So if you're on campus, if you're off campus, or off campus with family, we do take that into consideration when determining what the individual semester or quarter award amount will be. All right, and then just kind of a quick overview of the eligibility criteria. And this is the criteria for those applying as high school graduates. As long as you have already graduated, or if you plan to, or if you will be graduating from high school this year, so by the end of the 2018 academic year, or if you've earned a high school equivalency diploma, you would also be eligible. If you've graduated or you're going to graduate with a GPA of 2.5 or better, this is a big one. We do get asked the question a lot, what if I already have credits from like a community college? You're still eligible to apply as long as you have not been enrolled in a 4-year college or university in the past, or a bachelor's program. You cannot have earned more than 21 credits in a community college setting. If you have taken college classes in like a pre-college or dual enrollment program, those do not count towards that 21 credits. So this is after you have already graduated and then you have taken 1 or 2 classes here or there. As long as you have not hit 21 credits, you would still be eligible to apply. Another one is you need to intend to enroll full-time in either an associate's or bachelor's degree program at one of our partner colleges, no later than the spring 2020 term. So you don't have to start right away. So you're given kind of a break in the fall if you want to take that break to then start in the spring. Otherwise, you can start immediately in the fall. You have to be eligible for in-state tuition at a partner college unless it is one of our private partner colleges. We do this specifically because a lot of the colleges help to make up the difference from our award and the overall cost of attendance at their school. They offer it through institutional aid. Some of them will offer it through work on campus, different things like that. So that's why we have to make sure that you would be eligible for in-state tuition. The other key piece is that you have current DACA or TPS authorization, or that you're able to certify that you meet the DACA immigration eligibility criteria. That criteria is listed on the welcome page of the application. You have to have arrived in the US before you reached your 16th birthday, and you have to have significant unmet financial need. And it's not just a matter of hitting 1 or 2 of these points. You have to meet the eligibility criteria on every single one of these points in order to be eligible for the scholarship. And now we're going to go ahead and jump over to the criteria for the community college graduates. And very similar to the one for high school, you have to have graduated or will graduate from an accredited community college or 2-year degree program by the end of the 2018-19 academic year. So as long as you graduate by this coming spring or summer, you would still be eligible to apply as a community college graduate. If you're not going to graduate until fall of next year, unfortunately, you are not eligible this year to apply. You would have to wait until the next round to apply. For our community college graduates, we are looking for those who have graduated or are going to graduate with a college GPA of 3.0 or better on a 4.0 scale. Again, you cannot have been enrolled in a 4-year college or institution or in a bachelor's degree program of any sort. Again, plan to enroll full-time in a bachelor's program in a partner college, be eligible for the in-state tuition, have the current DACA or TPS authorization, or meet the DACA immigration eligibility criteria, arrived in the US before you were 16, and have significant unmet financial need. Again, all of these, the eligibility criteria is also located on the welcome page of the application. So if you have any questions about that, definitely look to the application. And again, you have to meet each of the 8 points in order to be eligible for the community college graduate scholarship. And now we're going to go ahead and see if we have any questions over the award or eligibility criteria. So Sedona, would you want to help me out and see if we've got any questions out there?
Yep, for now, we don't have any questions. So remember, everyone, you have 2 options for questions. You can either type it in the chat box or click on the little hand, and I will be able to call on you. Oh, I think we just got someone that raised their hand. Okay, so Nadia Jokimon, you can ask your question now. Nadia, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hi, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi. So I'm an undocumented student living in California right now, but I'm planning to adjust to my immigration status in this upcoming January. So I'm not sure if I'm eligible for the scholarship.
Gotcha. So just to kind of give you the idea on how that works. So when you apply to the scholarship, you do have to be DACA TPS or meet the eligibility criteria for DACA status. We do have students who have gained their residency since receiving the scholarship. And what happens at that point is they no longer become eligible for the scholarship once they have gained that status, because you then have access to federal funds by applying for Pell Grants. So we want to make sure that we are helping to assist everybody on the end where they still do not have that access to those federal funds.
Right.
But, you know, we know that it's a long process. So if you think that you would end up gaining residency before the fall semester of next year, you know, it's up to you whether you still want to continue the application process. But if you think that it, you know, may be longer before, you know, you would actually gain your residency, then, you know, by all means, keep going with the scholarship application there. And if you were selected, you know, you would have the ability to have those funds up until the time that you do receive residency.
Okay. Because in California, we have this program called California Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a federal grant tuition for undocumented students. So I'm not sure if that would make me eligible for this scholarship.
It does not. Most of our scholars in California do receive that aid, which is why the maximum is a little different for our students in California.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
We do have one more raised hand from Cecilia Macrea. Cecilia, you can now ask your question out loud. Cecilia, can you hear us? Okay, I'll try someone else. We have Dara Castro. Dara, can you hear us? Hi, Dara, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, and I'm sorry if I said your name incorrectly.
No, you said it correct.
Great, go ahead and ask your question.
So is this scholarship just for students who are undocumented?
It is, yes.
Okay, so I'm planning to attend Eastern Oregon University, and I'm in Oregon, and I got told by a recruiter that maybe this scholarship was going to be able to pay for the whole 4 years if I do apply for this scholarship and I do like get accepted to it. Is that possible?
So are you coming in as a high school graduate?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so for Oregon, you would have, if you were awarded the scholarship, it's $29,000 for basically the 4 years. So it's a set amount of $8,250 per year that the scholarship will help to cover tuition and fees for you.
So I would have everything covered, correct?
As long as your tuition and fees are below that $8,250, yes.
Okay. And does this scholarship pay for housing like in campus?
It does not. It only covers tuition and fees.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, we have a couple more raised hands. We have Brian Marcello. Brian, can you hear us?
Yes.
Hi, go ahead and ask your question.
I don't speak English very well, but I can try.
That's okay, go ahead.
My son study in Benedictine University is a university of 4 years bachelor degree, and I need to know if he have the opportunity for something a scholarship or this scholarship.
Okay, so he's already enrolled in taking classes at Benedictine?
Yes.
Okay. Unfortunately, he would not be eligible for this scholarship because he is already enrolled in a four-year university. But he can definitely go to our website, which is TheDream.Us, and we actually have some links to other scholarships that are available for undocumented students.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, Elena, I have a question from the chat box.
Okay.
So the person wrote, I'm a current DACA recipient. What would happen if I received the scholarship and God forbid something were to happen to my DACA status?
Gotcha. As long as it's not a matter of you gaining residency, it's if, DACA were to completely go away, we are still committed to providing the scholarship for students.
I know it.
So don't let that be a fear factor for you at all. We are very committed, and we are working on various things to kind of help put in place so that we still have the ability to provide the scholarship funds to everyone.
All right, and we'll take one more raised hand. We have Jose on the line. Jose, can you hear us? Oh, he's actually typed his question in the chat box, so I'll just read it there.
Okay.
He says, thank you so much for the information and for this webinar. I'm currently not a dreamer, but I meet the criteria for DACA. Am I eligible for this scholarship? I don't want to get my hopes up and be denied in the end.
As long as you meet every point of the DACA eligibility criteria and you did not have a chance to apply for it when it was still in, you had the ability to apply for it, then yes, apply for the scholarship. There is a section on there that asks what your status is, and you let us know whether you're DACA, TPS, or if you qualify for all of the eligibility criteria for DACA status. And as long as you are agreeing that you meet every single one of those criteria, then you would be eligible to complete the application and potentially receive the scholarship.
Okay, would you like to move on, Elena, or should we continue taking more questions?
Let's go ahead and move on just so we can keep it going. And if we've got enough time at the end, we'll jump back to whatever questions we have.
Great.
All right, so now we're going to jump forward and just kind of talk about the application real quick. So most of you, I'm sure, have probably already started the application. And so just to, for those who haven't fully dove into it yet, we do ask just kind of some basic demographic information on the applicant information section. We ask that, or we have it so that you don't have to provide us your street address. You still are providing us with your city, state, and zip code. But we have done this intentionally. We want to make sure that your information is staying safe. So if, again, God forbid something were to happen, we actually do not have access to your address. So that it's not anything that we would have the ability to turn over to anyone. So we really try to make sure that, we're keeping you guys as safe as possible. Here again is where you would provide us with your DACA TPS information, so your ID card number, expiration date, or certifying that you meet the DACA criteria. From there, you would then move on to the academic information section. Here's where you're going to let us know the high school that you've graduated from, what your GPA is, if you've taken any honors courses, IB classes, various things like that. You're also going to let us know if you have taken any community college classes. So, if you're a high school graduate applying and, you've had dual enrollment classes, you can let us know there. For those applying as a community college graduate, here's where you would provide us with your community college information and your GPA. Standardized test scores are optional for our high school students. So if you've taken the SAT or the ACT, you can please feel free to provide those to us, but it is an optional piece. From there, you're going to move on to the financial section. Here is where you're going to give us some financial information. And this information, what we're looking for is basically what your household adjusted gross income would be. How many people in the family are supported by that income, and how many would be attending college next year. All that takes into consideration, or once it's taken into consideration, it lets us know what sort of financial need you have. So please be as truthful on that as possible. You're not going to have to provide any sort of documentation, so don't worry about having, the fact that you may or may not have a federal 1040 to provide, or letters from employers, anything like that. The only time that you would need that is if we specifically asked for it, and at this point we haven't had the need to go back to anybody. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but it's just not something that is a required piece of the application for you to actually provide proof there. The next and probably most important piece of the application is the essays. So there are 2 essays to the application. One is telling us what your educational and career goals are, and the other is you letting us know what you've done to overcome adversity. Both of those essays are no more than 750 words each. If you were to go over that 750, just to give you an idea of what will happen, is it'll let you keep typing, but as soon as you go to save it, it's going to cut off anything past 750. So make sure you are staying within the 750 word maximum. The other important piece is you really want to make sure that you have got somebody that can take a look at your essay, give you some feedback on it, whether it be a teacher, somebody at your church, anybody you work for. And we'll get more into it in a little bit, but our selection committee really wants to see these essays. This is what they actually do the scoring on. And they are looking for, the grammar structure, the spelling, all of that. So just make sure you are putting your best foot forward when it comes to writing those essays. And then for the supporting documents that are required in order to complete the application would be the transcript. It does not have to be official, so unofficial transcripts are fine. You just want to make sure that your name is on the transcript, and if possible, the school's name as well. But we need to be able to verify that it is yours, so make sure that your name is on that unofficial transcript. All right, and then to give you quick information there on the timeline, so the application closes on February 28th at 11:59 p.m. So if you try to sign in on March 1st at 12 o'clock, you are going to be denied access to it. You'll be able to see it, but you won't be able to edit anything. So make sure that all of the written portion is completed, you have hit the submit button, and you have uploaded your transcript by February 28th. It's definitely better to do it sooner rather than later. So if something were to come back and the transcript gets rejected for a reason, it's missing information or anything like that, that you have time to get it corrected. So in late April is when recipients will be notified if they have been selected to receive the scholarship or not. And then those recipients will have until mid-May to complete the acceptance. If you've been selected, you do not accept the scholarship before the deadline in May, then unfortunately you would be no longer considered eligible for the scholarship. So make sure you're checking those emails, and the best thing to do is to make sure that you are adding TheDream.Us and apply.ists.com to your safe senders list so that they don't end up in a spam or a junk folder. And now to kind of give you an idea on the selection criteria. So it is a rigorous selection process, and multiple things are taken into consideration. So grades, if you have test scores, so like I said, ACT or SAT, those are taken into consideration. If you've participated in any sort of advanced coursework, so honors classes, AP classes, IB classes, all of that would be taken into consideration as well. The one piece that we really kind of didn't talk about on the application is the responsibilities section. So the responsibilities section is where you're going to let us know if you've done any community service work, if you're working outside of going to school, any volunteer work you've done, as well as what your home responsibilities are. And we know that it's really important for our applicants to be able to let us know what their home responsibilities are, because we know a lot of you don't have the ability to do the volunteer work and community service work that a lot of your peers have the ability to do, because you're doing so much at home, whether it's helping to take care of siblings, helping to translate for your parents, grandparents, taking care of sick relatives, all of that. So please make sure that you're providing that information. And again, your essays. So ISTS, which is the company who hosts the online application for us, they will be the ones to determine what applications are complete and eligible. They handle the scoring of the grades, test scores, as well as all of the responsibility section. From there, we have a group of finalists that go to our independent selection committee, and they're who scores our essays. Once we get those scores back, then the scholarships are awarded to our highest scoring applicants. All right, and just a couple of quick information points here. So definitely feel free to jump on our website. We've got frequently asked questions section that'll answer any questions that you have, and that's going to be at www.TheDream.Us. And again, the email address that I gave just a few moments ago is TheDream.Us at apply.ists.com. And that's where a lot of the incomplete notifications will come from. So if you haven't completed your application as we're getting closer to the deadline, they will begin to send email reminders out to you. That is also the email address that any winner notifications will come from, and everything like that that's related to the application. You will end up receiving probably a few emails from us, but the bulk of them are going to come from ISTS. They can answer any questions at that email address that you have. So if you've got additional questions that come up after this presentation is over, definitely reach out to the team there at ISTS. And then their phone number is there for you as well. Again, everybody there in their customer care department is versed on the scholarship program and will be able to answer your questions. If for some reason you have a little bit tougher question for them, they will actually escalate the question to the program manager that's on the ISTS side of things, and she'll be able to get those answers for you. All right, and we'll go ahead and jump back over for more questions. So questions related to the application process, the timeline, anything like that. So let's see if we've got anything coming in from anyone.
Yes, we have a couple of raised hands.
Okay.
And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your names. So sorry. So I'm going to call on Marcia Criollo. Marcia, can you hear us?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead and ask your question.
I have a question based on the recommendation letters.
There's actually not any recommendation letters that you have to provide to us. So we do ask in there that you provide us the name, phone number, I believe it's name, phone number, and email address of somebody if we needed to reach out to anybody for a recommendation. But as far as providing one, there's not one that's a part of the application.
Okay, thank you. I also have another one.
Sure.
About the about the financial requirement. Like, what's the amount of money, like, my parents have to make?
There's not a maximum, minimum, anything like that. You let us know what that total is. Again, how many people in the family are supported by that, as well as how many would be attending school. And then we're able to determine what the need for college is.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. We have Sonabara Webb. Sonabara, can you hear us?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. My question is, I graduated from high school last year, and I attended a private college, and I went part-time. So I was wondering, will I be eligible to apply for this semester?
Gotcha. The school that you were attending, was it a four-year university or college?
I'm not. They had bachelor's programs, but I majored in an associate's, and it's called Monroe College.
Gotcha. Trying to think. It sounds like they probably are a four-year, even though they do offer the associates. But let us do this. Let us go ahead and just try to double check that information for you. And then once this presentation is over, within the next couple of days, you should end up getting an email with a copy of the presentation on it. And we'll have tried to research that and then get you a definite answer on whether Monroe is considered a four-year or not, to whether you would be eligible.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. We do have some questions in the chat box as well. So one question, I am a TPS recipient. If my TPS were to expire and I'm in the process of renewing my TPS, do I still have the scholarship?
As long as you're still in the renewal process, yes. What's going to be, do you want to kind of speak on that one, since you have a little more insight on that one, Sedona, with TPS and the fact that that's what Myford has?
Yes, sure. So my husband has TPS. He was able to complete his degree before his expiration date. And as we know, for the Trump administration, some of the TPS expiration dates are final. You can no longer renew. So I can speak to the fact that, yes, do apply for the scholarship, do apply to renew your TPS if you have the ability to do so. You will have the scholarship as long as you have your TPS documentation current. And if you lose TPS, unfortunately, we don't have the answers to that as of yet. That is something we're sort of working on behind the scenes on the side to help out those who do have TPS. But for now, you will definitely have the scholarship as long as you have your documentation and as long as you're able to renew for your particular country. Elena, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think that hit it. Thanks.
All right, next question. I am a mother of four and I have only volunteered at my kids' school. Will that be considered as volunteer work?
Sure, you can definitely put that down as volunteer work.
Yep. Okay, one more question. I haven't been able to do much volunteer work except Sunday school teaching for many years since I'm working to pay for my studies and helping my parents with the bills. Does that affect the application?
Definitely does not. Put down that volunteer work that you've been, helping with Sunday school. On that same page gives you the ability to let us know, what you've been doing work-wise. And then, we're able to see that. So, once you've listed the volunteer work, even though it's not a lot, that's why we also ask you to kind of give us an idea of what your home responsibilities are. There are specific drop downs given to you for what we're looking for as far as the home responsibilities and how often you're doing that. But that's why we feel like the home responsibilities section is such a key piece to this application, because most of our applicants do not have the time or the ability to do the volunteer and community service work.
Okay, we have a couple more questions. I currently have DACA and I enrolled in college for spring 2019. If I receive the scholarship, will I be able to use this to pay for college in the spring?
No, the scholarship would not be awarded until late spring, and it's for the beginning of the 1920 academic year. So that is when the scholarship would take effect.
Okay, and last question in the chat box. If I filled out a non-federal financial aid application at my community college, will it affect my scholarship at all?
No, it will not. As long as you are not overfunded by any sort of outside aid. Again, we take into consideration the full cost of attendance based on your living arrangement. It would not affect the scholarship award amount.
All right, great. That is all the questions I have so far.
Okay, then we are going to go ahead, and I think I'm getting ready to pass it back on to you, Sedana. But if anybody comes up with any other questions, feel free to, make sure you raise your hand, provide it to us in the chat box there, and we'll actually be getting to our scholars here in just a few moments. So. Sedana, you want to go ahead and kind of remind them of those kind of key points again?
Yes, so Elena went through our program, our eligibility criteria, and parts of the application. And yes, it may be a little bit overwhelming and it may seem like a lot, but trust me and trust the scholars that you will hear from in a minute, it is absolutely worth it. So just to recap why it's worth it, the things I spoke about in the beginning, no one can ever take your education away from you. If you earn an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, whether you lose DACA or TPS somewhere down the road, you still won't lose this degree. You definitely will take this education with you for the rest of your life. Second, with a college degree, we know that you have access to better jobs and a higher salary. And with TheDream.Us, you will gain access to a nationwide community of dreamers. And this is not just going to be the dreamers at your college that you can then bond with and support, but also just nationally online, you get to interact with everyone all over the country. Elena?
Great, thanks. All right, so now we're going to let you hear from our scholars. Like I said, we have Sebastian, Maggie, and Gabby with us. Sebastian is currently studying at Northern Virginia Community College, or NOVA as we call it. Maggie is at GMU, she's studying at George Mason, and Gabby is at Trinity, Washington, which is also where Sedana studied. So I'm going to go ahead and I think we will start with Sebastian. So Sebastian, go ahead and let everybody know just some things that you learned or helped you while you were applying for the scholarship.
So, hello everyone, my name is Sebastian Yupanqui. I am from Chosica, Peru. Like she said, I attend Northern Virginia Community College. I'm a sophomore, so this is my second year as a scholarship recipient. So one of the things that I learned through the scholarship process for the national scholarship, as well as applying for other scholarships through trial and error, was that a lot of us are the same. So I know a lot of people are messaging like saying, "Oh, I'm a DACA recipient. Oh, I'm low income," and that's kind of what this scholarship is based upon. So the people that are applying are all generally the same. They come from generally the same background. So one thing that I always keep in mind when I'm applying for scholarships or applying for the Common App when I transfer out of NOVA is to make sure that the people reading it know who I am, despite all the similarities I have with other people, like what motivates me to strive for success, what motivates me for this and that. So that's sort of like one of the big key things I would advise everyone to sort of stand out instead of just listing all the things that every other applicant might add to their application.
Great, thanks. And Gabby, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think the thing that I learned while I was applying for the scholarship is the importance of asking for help when you need it. There are times when you are filling out an application and you're not sure about the wording of a certain question, or you're not sure about the documents that you need to turn in. So the best option is always just to ask for help, and also find someone that you trust, like a counselor or another adult that you can ask to help you fill out the application as you're going along. yeah, just don't be afraid to ask any questions while you're doing the application.
Great point. Thank you. Maggie, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I would say that never be afraid to reach out to anybody, but at the same time, like look for a lot of information. There's posts, there's read the news, read any informations that they're out there, any opportunities. That's like one of the way that I was able to, find this amazing opportunity. So I mean, I was always looking at for my email, and I was able to get this information because thanks to my counselor, thanks to my advisor. So just always be on the lookout if you really want this. So that's my highest advice.
Great, thanks. Gabby, what would be your best advice for completing the application outside of kind of what you just gave as far as, which was really good advice as far as reaching out?
Yeah, for me, I feel like the biggest issue always in my life is time management. I tend to be a procrastinator sometimes when it comes to schoolwork or things like that. But I know the application, it seems like when you're first opening it up, it seems like it might be a lot. Set the time to like work on the essays, make sure you have time to proofread them because as Elena said, they are going to be checked for grammar. So you want to make sure that they're the best that you can offer. Set time to have someone read over them and give you feedback. Set time to get any documents that you need, like your transcripts. I know that I had graduated already when I started filling out the application, so I had to go back to my school and ask for my transcript. So you have to make sure you have time. You set aside the time that you need in order to make sure that you have all those things to be able to submit your application. So make sure you start with enough time and try not to like leave things for last minute because then you'll start panicking and that sucks.
Yes, it does. Maggie, anything you'd add to that?
So the best advice that I've gotten was just be true to yourself when completing this application. Don't be afraid to tell your story because that's what they want to hear. And everyone has gone through something. I mean, and we're able to kind of withstand that and have the courage to just, tell your story and, just be who you are in this application. I mean, be yourself. That's the best.
Well, thanks, Sebastian.
Yeah, I couldn't agree any more with what Maggie was saying. You definitely want to show whoever's reading the scholarship application, you want to show them who you are in comparison to every other 100 or maybe even 1,000 of scholarship applicants. Like I was saying, you want to show them like what makes you strive for greatness, what sets you apart from not just other DACA recipients, but other students in your school. So you definitely want to just show everyone who you are and stand out.
Great, thanks. All right, so the last question I've got for everybody is, how has the scholarship impacted your life so far? Maggie, I'm gonna let you start off with this one.
Oh, what can I say? A lot. I couldn't be happier. There's just so much joy, so much to be honest, I'm so empowered. I've never been this confident before. And being able to just get an education, whether you want to be a lawyer, doctor, if you want to be a business owner, like an entrepreneur, you need an education. The knowledge will take you somewhere. The knowledge will get you in higher places. And I think that, again, I just can't say it enough, but no one can take your knowledge. And it's powerful, and it can do so many amazing things for you. But for me so far, I'm on my way I'm gonna graduate soon, and it's been tough. I'm learning new things, and it's amazing at the same time. I just feel like I can feel that I'm learning so much, and I have seen so many opportunities, coming at me because I'm enrolled in college, and it's just opportunities after opportunities, and it's like the best feeling ever. And I'm excited to see what's for me, and I'm just so empowered.
Awesome. Sebastian?
Maggie was about to make me cry a second ago, but as far as what I have to say, this is sort of the first time I really had a support system when it comes to education. When I was in high school, I always knew that I was going to end up at Northern Virginia Community College because of the financial need. So I didn't really strive for good grades and all that, but I sort of when I did go to Nova and when I did get that email saying that I was accepted to the Dream.Us scholarship, that sort of gave me the boost that I never really had. It gave me a support system, the whole Facebook group, and all the people you see on the screen right now, which I met Maggie, and I think I met Gabby. No, I definitely met Maggie a couple weeks ago. And it really does give you a support system and does make you strive for greatness through that support system.
Great. And then Gabby, go ahead and close it off with you.
Yeah, I think more than anything, this scholarship gave me hope in a time where I just didn't know what my future was going to hold. Once I graduated from high school, I actually did really well in school because I had really good parents that taught me from a very early age the importance of education. But being undocumented, I didn't have any sort of money to go to college, and so I felt like I had no hope to pursue higher education. But the Dream.Us just completely opened that door, and I actually went to I'm at Trinity right now, and I got to meet Sedona when she was there, and what they said about just finding a community, a support system, that people who know your story, who share the same story, and people who support you and just want to see you, do great things in life. I think that's one of the biggest things that this scholarship has provided me. Just that support system, like everyone else says, that honestly, it's just, and right now, like all the things that are happening in this nation, it gets kind of scary, and at times you feel like you're gonna lose hope because you're afraid of what's gonna happen to you or your family. But yeah, that support system is always there, and I think that's what's helping me get through these difficult times.
Great. Thank you all so much. All right. So we are almost done. So we're going to jump over here and just kind of recap some quick tips for everyone. So on the essay portion, make sure you answer all parts of the essay. Do not exceed that maximum word count of 750. Like I said, otherwise, whatever you've written beyond that will disappear. Make sure that you kind of use either Word or another text editor so that you're actually writing it there, not actually in the application. So that way you have the ability to send it off to somebody, let them proof it, and then once you have the final version of it, then take it and copy and paste it into the application. Again, advisor or teacher, let them read it before you submit it. And then on your documents, confirm that that you've uploaded your transcript so that it's there. If you've got questions, the ISTS Customer Care Department is there to help with any technical issues that you may have. And then again, make sure that you're submitting the application and documents in advance of the deadline. So that way, if you've got to correct anything, you have time to do that. The way this application works is once you have submitted it, if there's anything you either want to go back in and change or you want to add, say something else has happened, you've started, a new volunteer position, anything like that, even after you've submitted the application, you can make changes to it up until the deadline. So you have the ability to go back in and mess with it. You can also, once you sign into your ISTS account, if you click on the little started button that's next to the name of the scholarship that you're applying for, an additional box is going to pop up, and that box will let you know where your transcript sits. So if you've uploaded it and it's still being processed, it'll let you know that it's being processed. If it's been accepted, you'll have the ability there to see that it's been accepted. If it's been rejected for a reason, the rejected reason will also be there, which gives you the ability to get that corrected. So just know that you can do that as well. And then finally, thank you all for joining us. We definitely appreciate it. We hope we've been able to answer all your questions for you. If you do have further questions, definitely reach out to the ISTS Customer Care Department. They are there and they'll be able to get those answered for you. And just a reminder, deadline is coming up. So we are just over 2 months away from the deadline. So February 28th at 11:59 p.m. Like I said, if you try to sign in on March 1st at 12 o'clock a.m., you're not going to be able to do anything with the application. So make sure you have hit that submit button and uploaded your transcript. And then want to go ahead and just double check, make sure whether or not we have any additional questions that have come in so that we're not signing off without getting those answered first.
No, we are good. No questions on this end.
Okay, well, awesome. Thank you, everyone. Like I said again, thank you so much for joining us. And if you've got further questions, please feel free to reach out.
Goodbye, everyone.